Welcome back, True Seeker. It is officially football season. And if you're not off to a 2-0 start this year with the college ranked games, you might want to think about joining our community. We took the underdogs in both games and were rewarded accordingly. And of course, we have a very unique way of analyzing the games and really the premier way, the way everybody should be doing it in 2025 based on all that's been demonstrated over the course of the last, well, now more than a decade. Been here for over a decade straight. If you're new here, you got to learn the word Gematria, the Kabbalistic practice of coding numbers into words. And why do you want to learn that word in light of sports? Because Freemasonry is based in Kabbalah, and every American sport is credited to a Freemason. In the case of American football, it's credited to Walter Camp, 33rd degree Scottish Rite Freemason, and also member of Yale Skull and Bones. And of course, Skull and Bones is connected to the Illuminati and Skull and Bones is a very powerful secret society. The money behind Skull and Bones is called the Russell Trust, and the Russell Trust says they're invested in all things that influence culture. Let me know if you think football influences American culture. You could argue it might influence it more than anything else, starting at a young age. There's a lot of perks to being on the varsity football team, if you know what I mean. But anyway, what we do is we analyze the games by the numbers, not looking at who has the highest completion percent. Well, those things can matter too, but we look at the numbers for what could be the outcome of the game, who can pick up the appropriate win and loss. What's it have to do with the date, especially these primetime games? Why are they playing on the days they are in primetime? Like, we'll get into last night, how that game was at Raymond James Field, a major financial institution, and how much Raymond James had to do with Boise State getting upset last night. And of course, it was Thursday, right? You know what? If you're new here and you don't know what the phrase 35 Thursday is, man, you've been missing out for a long time. But ESPN yesterday gave the South Florida Bulls a 35% chance to win on 35 Thursday. We already like the Bulls for a lot of reasons, but we saw that. We said, come on. 35 Thursdays in session. And sure enough, South Florida, nearly a touchdown dog, put a whooping on Boise State. They said, send your ass back to potato land. Anyway, we're going to talk about what was behind the rig of both these games. We're going to talk about how we break it down real quick. And if you're new here, this is what we've been doing for over a decade, season after season. College sports, pro sports, nailing future after future. I got haters last year about the college championship, but did I deserve any haters? I gave out one free future to everybody on my public channel. That was Ohio State. They ended up winning it. Within the Patreon community, we had 3 futures in for the championship last year for college football. We had Ohio State, of course. We had Notre Dame, and we had Georgia. We knew it was going to be one of those 3 teams, and I highly suspected that Notre Dame and Georgia were going to meet up in the college football playoff, which they did. It was the 44th anniversary of them playing in the Sugar Bowl. And Notre Dame was very lucrative for us because they were a dog in a lot of the college football playoff games as they rode right into the championship. Remember, they started off the year over there in Ireland, the Fighting Irish. They didn't do anything quite that obvious this year with Iowa State and Kansas State playing over there. But, anyway, show you a little bit of what we do. And also, before I even get into it, I'm just going to let you know, for all you guys who've been on the sports tier, I'm changing things up for the football season. The tiers are going to be a little bit different for sports now. For those of you guys who are on the $5 tier for sports, you're going to get Friday. You're going to get the Friday notes and the Friday live stream. So $5 tier gets you $5 Friday now. I know for years I did everything for $5. Last year I upped it to $11 if you wanted everything. I got a family to feed over here now, and I've always been very generous with this work. And that's what the Turtle Law Bill, they said, oh, this guy's only doing it for $5 a month. Must be bullshit. If you had that mentality, you missed out. I did this for free for 5 years and helped a lot of people change their life. I never really wanted to put money on it, but, things have become expensive, family to feed. I put in hundreds of hours every single month into this. I've always charged pennies on the dollar for what my labor time is. Anyway, this is the new pricing tier. $5 gets you the Friday live stream and sports notes, which is a lot. It's still a pretty good deal. That means you get 4 things. Some months it'll be 5 things. Well worth $5. The $11 tier is going to get you notes all 7 days a week. I never take a day off. For people who don't know, I work every single day. My birthday, holidays, it doesn't matter. I work every single day. The only day you'd ever see me take a day off is if, well, it happened one time. In the 12 years I've been here, there's been one day I didn't work. And what happened that day? My house got burglarized. Computers got stolen. I didn't have any way to do anything. But I was back on it the very next day after picking up the pieces. So anyway, $11 tier is going to be notes every single day of the week and the Friday and the Saturday stream. So that's what you get on the $11 tier now. $20 tier, you get everything. You get streams all 7 days a week. You get all the notes. And the best part about being on the $20 tier is you get a chance to win my money every week. I imagine we'll get quite a few more people on the $20 tier. I've been giving out about $200 a week every single week back to the community, which is nearly $1,000 a month. I've been putting that back into the community. There's some people who've been killing that tier, like shout out to 443. He's been paying the bills just off how much money he wins he finishes in the top 3 of the contest almost every week. We need more competitors so 443 stops winning so often. However, he has cooled. I don't think he's won. I don't think he's placed in the last few weeks. What happened, 443? I'm not used to you not being up there, but no, he's been dominating and he's made a lot of money on that tier. Anyway, if we get more people on that tier, I'll be giving more prize money. It'll probably climb to above $200 a week. The last few weeks once basketball season ended, a lot of people don't care about baseball. You know, we've had less people on the tier. I did tune it down a little bit, but I'm sure it'll be back up there for football. So again, just so we're clear on the new pricing tiers, $5 tier gets you $5 Friday. You get the sports notes Friday and the live stream. $11 tier gets you sports notes every day of the week, all 7 days a week, all 365 days a year. And it gets you the Friday and the Saturday stream. $20 tier gets you everything. Notes every day, live streams every day, and a chance to win money every week. If you're good at this, that tier can pay the bills for you. So that is going to be the new pricing model. And if you've never been on Patreon, the way it works is when you sign up, that becomes your anniversary date. So say you signed up today on the 29th. Next month, if you have to check the box to, have a recurring subscription. Otherwise, your subscription will just expire next month. But if you check the box to stay subscribed, it would renew you every month on the 29th. So that's the way Patreon works. If you've never been on there, for people who are not familiar with Patreon, it's something for content creators who want to put something behind a paywall. That's what they call it. So again, you want the extra sports information. That's what I've been doing. I started my Patreon in September of 2018. And remember, the way I got it off the ground was I gave everybody a free 6-teamer for week 1 of the NFL season. A young Patrick Mahomes was the 6th game on that ticket, and it was a nail biter, but it came in a 6-teamer hit. And, I'd already proven my point in spades in the years before that. But again, the point is, this is real knowledge. And as they say, knowledge is power. It doesn't mean you're going to win every single game. It doesn't mean you're going to win every single day. But if you follow the advice I give and you stay consistent and steady and you never bet more than you can afford to lose, you will continuously win and build your bankroll. The only people I know that haven't done that are morons. People who get on a hot streak and all of a sudden, they start out with $100 and they got 10,000 now, and then they go bet it all and they lose it all because they had a bad day. And then they're like, oh, I want the 10,000 back. And then they go pull out 10,000 out of the bank and they bet another 10,000. Now they're in a $10,000 hole. I don't teach people to do that. It's dumb. I teach people how to not waste their money and turn small bets into big bets, like taking advantage of the Storm game last night in the WNBA. Storm, 8.5-point underdog, big payout, pick up their 21st win. What's Lynx equal in Gematria? 21. And that number's been playing with the Lynx. That's the second time there was a big upset on that number with the Lynx this year. But it's the same thing in all these sports. So anyway, first 2 college football games of the season are in. This is what it looks like, what we do. Here was the notes that you would have got August 23rd for the college football game. Notice there's a series of things up here, and then it says or, and there's something down here, right? Now, there could have been more on the south side of that if I would have saw more, but Iowa State, right? They're the underdog. Keep in mind, they were ranked number 22, right? That's a special number in football, 22 men on the field. This game just happened to be on 22 date numerology as well. But you can see it says Iowa State coach can stay on 66 losses before next opponent, South Dakota Coyotes. If you're saying, how do you get these number values? Again, I learned about this in The Secret Teachings of All Ages, a book published in 1926 by Manly P. Hall. This calculator I'm typing into, this didn't exist until the end of 2016. A gentleman who found my work, who lives in Wisconsin, who was a big Cheesehead Packers fan, he found my work talking about the rigged NFL, and his immediate reaction was, this is a load of shit. Pro sports aren't rigged. And he immediately began looking into it, trying to disprove what I was showing about the games being rigged by the numbers, thinking this was a steaming load. And the more he looked into it, the more he realized this was totally legit. And he got so inspired by this that he ended up building this calculator. I was doing everything by hand back then. If you guys were here in the old days, I'd have things written out on a whiteboard. You know, I'd fill it out on the whiteboard sometimes in real time. But anyway, you know, this revolutionized the study back in 2016, just being able to hit all four ciphers at once, spelling things out. And like I've always taught, these ciphers on the left matter the most. All these ciphers can matter, but the one that I always use the most is that dark blue one, the alphabetic order with numerology applied. That's how you get these values. South Dakota Coyotes is 237 when you just take A is 1 up to Z is 26. S would be the 19th letter of the alphabet. O the 15th. U the 21st. Remember, Prince had that song, I Would Die For You, with the number 4 and the letter U for the title. For You, 421. What day did Prince die? Did he die on 421? 33 years after recording that song? He sure did. Anyway, this cipher, the alphabetic order of numerology, this has always been the bread and butter. And that's what stood out to me looking at this in a big way. I said, the coach, if he wins this game, he's going to stay on 66 losses. They played the South Dakota Coyotes after this. I like that Iowa State was number 22. That's the master builder number in numerology. Again, masonry's into numerology, masonry's into Kabbalah, and Kabbalah's where Gematria comes from. All of the American sports are credited to Masons. Again, football's Walter Camp, basketball's Naismith, baseball's Doubleday. So there's a logical connection for why these things matter. For the people who can't wrap their mind around it, is it because you can't do it, or is it because you're unwilling to, because you're in denial? And I'll tell you what, being in denial is not going to help you build your bankroll off these rigged games. I'll tell you that much right now. Also, what stood out in a major way, Iowa State University. This game was on 23/8, Kobe's birthday anniversary, right? I'll show you something about Kobe, who was parallel to Jordan here in a second. But you see how Iowa State University, when you run the alphabetic order in reverse, is 238? Seemed quite interesting that they're playing on this day, this first-ranked game of the season in Ireland. And sure enough, that was another indicator that looked positive for them. And like I said, it was 22 date numerology, 22 breaks down to 4. You had a 3.5-point game. I said, if you want to play it safe, looks like they can cover that spread. And the only thing I saw going for Kansas State is they could have got their 31st home win in the series, which 31 breaks down to 3 + 1 is 4. That could have fit with the date numerology, but this is obviously a heftier narrative. The values with Iowa State, it's the better narrative. It's the winner. Now, granted, if you go through my notes over the course of the season, you'll see games that look like this, and it might end up being a day where Kansas State does get their 31st home win. But the point is, you stay steady with the knowledge, you're going to win a lot more often than not. But there will be games where it could have gone the Kansas State way. That's possible. Again, I teach you all not to waste money on junk food and fast food and overpriced coffee. Instead of wasting your money on that kind of crap each day, the average American will blow $10 to $20 a day that they don't need to. With this knowledge, on a regular basis, you can turn $10 into $100+. So if you're already wasting $10 in your life, if you can learn to stop doing that, that's a positive habit. If you can learn to multiply it and not waste it, that's an even more positive habit. We look at sports gambling as investing. Even the market itself is a little bit of a gamble and a risk. But you use this knowledge, you can use it for the market, you can use it for crypto, you can use it for sports. That's how powerful this knowledge is. The whole game is rigged through this knowledge. For people who don't know, Masonry goes beyond sports. Most of the founders of this country are Masons. A lot of people in the executive world are in Masonry. 100 years ago, it was well known that you wanted to climb the power ladder in this nation, you better be involved with the Masons. So anyway, that was the first ranked game of the year. The second ranked game was yesterday, 35 Thursday. Look, I got the screenshot right here from ESPN's page too. Look at that. The USF Bulls, a 35.5% chance to win, right? So check this out. South Florida coach could get his 15th win, and the Boise State coach could stay on 15 wins. Where was last night's game? It was in Tampa. We like 15 in Tampa. That number plays in that city in all sports. So both coaches ended up on 15 wins last night. Both coaches ended up on 15. And notice how the game was at Raymond James Stadium on 28/8. Notice how these first two ranked games of the year have this perfect symmetry, right? With the day they're playing and who's playing and the location. And remember, I mean, you think about it, these sports games, from the people who run the show, right? They want you to watch the game because they're making money off the ratings. But how are they making money off the ratings? They're making money through the advertisers, right? Because they're showing you a lot of advertisements. If you sit on your ass all Saturday and Sunday and watch football, how many commercials do you think you watched and saw? Not just from the commercials during the breaks, but just the things on people's uniforms, on the field, in the background. This moment sponsored by this. Get your Dorito grab bag for the touch. You know what I mean? I mean, just nonstop advertising. And anyway, I said, there's obviously something up with the Raymond James Company and Raymond James Stadium in this first ranked game of the season on Thursday being this. And so we decided in yesterday's stream to look a little bit more into Raymond James. I put this all in the notes. This is the kind of information you get every day. And I said, well, Raymond James was founded in St. Petersburg, right? And you see the 154 here? Do you know what the Boise State coach's record became yesterday? He came into the game 15-3. He fell to 15-4. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. And something I'll be looking at for their next game is, we won't mark it all the way down yet, but if they get upset again next week, somebody's going to be 15-5. So we'll cross that bridge then. But I'm just giving you a little thing of how we're even looking ahead. And we talked about that yesterday. We're like, man, and also if they lose tomorrow, it's going to set up the possible narrative for that. So that was also part of our decision process yesterday. But then also USF, right? Check this out. USF, what University of South Florida, the acronym goes by. You see the 35 and the 46, right? 35 and 46. We call it 35 Thursday, and not by accident, man. This number hits so hard. And that is the thing too, you guys. For people who don't know, like there will be the most perfect player props you have ever seen in the NFL on 35 Thursday. So sometimes, I mean, last year there were at least 3 Thursday games where we were almost 1,000,000% confident about who was going to score the first touchdown, and that's usually a big payout. Sometimes it's better than 10-1. It's usually around the 10-1 neighborhood. Sometimes I think the best one we got last year was about 14-1, but there were at least 3 games last year where we're like, this just, oh my God, it's so perfect. It's so perfect. And like, I can't remember if it was last year or 2 years ago, but there's a player in the NFL who's got a nickname Zeus. Thursday is named after Jupiter, which is Zeus. And if I remember correctly, he got his 35th career touchdown, or maybe it was 35 days after his birthday or weeks. It was just something so perfect. We said, that just makes too much damn sense. And then sure enough, it was like, right, you didn't have to wait any time. It was like 2 minutes into the game, he's already in the end zone. We're like, yes, 35 Thursday. So anyway, what we do in our community is we turn the small bills into the big bills by taking the time to do the research. And the thing is too, once you learn this knowledge and you're not just having to listen to me and what the patterns are, you can go beyond me, because there's people in this community of mine that will call in every day that are way more into sports than I am. They're watching all the sports. They're knowing all the players. They're on a harder grind than I am. There are great members in the community that call in every day, that post in the notes. You can learn from them as well. And a lot of them have their own Patreons, and you're welcome to sign up for their Patreons. I let people promote their own. I mean, people use my Patreon as a advertising place for all their own stuff. I've always let that go on. But you know what? Looking into this Raymond James thing yesterday, you guys, if you've been around for years, you've heard me talk about how the Buccaneers are the ultimate 62 team, right? I was overlooking this all these years. Buccaneers is 62. in reverse with numerology and forwards with numerology, Tampa Bay Buccaneers is 62. When they won the Super Bowl with Brady over the Chiefs, and don't forget who told you that was going to be the Super Bowl. Like, what I think when the George Floyd news, we were just even in the George Floyd stream when George Floyd first broke, we were talking about it in those streams. He'll be calling it like, Zach, I think you're on the money with this Bucks over Chiefs. It was such a lock, you guys. But when Tampa Bay won that Super Bowl, it was 62 days from the mayor's birthday. I mean, the stuff is this scripted. Anyway, the reason I'm bringing this up is because I had been overlooking all these years how they play in Raymond James Financial, a company that was created in 62. And again, we've always known that these corporations matter to the rituals and the stadium names. One of the most obvious examples of all time in recent years was who's the State Farm guy? Isn't that Patrick Mahomes? Remember when he strolled into State Farm Stadium with a 10-3 record in the playoffs for the 103rd NFL season? And then he exited the game 11-3 after beating the Eagles. See how Eagles is 113. He beat the Eagles in Super Bowl 57 and became 11-3 in the postseason. And look at what happened last year when he lost to the Eagles, right? The Chiefs got their 22nd postseason loss, losing with 22 points. And go back and look at the Eagles' box scores last year in the playoffs. In 3 of the 4 games, 22 was in the final score. Who's kicking off the season this year on the 4th of September, 4-9? Isn't that the Eagles? You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's just you learn this information. It's really undeniable. And by the way, here's how yesterday's notes look. You can see all this stuff up here on the top was very favorable of the Dogs, South Florida. And, just looking at the 35 Thursday thing, I mean, they were like, I mean, see, if you don't know any better, man, if you're a gambler, they might be like, oh, man, ESPN's only giving them a 1-3 chance. That's not very good. I better go bet on Boise State. And see, that's when you're looking at it the wrong way, not understanding that all of this is encoded information. Remember, secret societies speak in knowledge that they know the masses don't have. Really, what you should see is, wait a minute, that's the code number for Thursday. And these were the things to think twice about on the other side. But again, it's the weaker narrative. It's the bottom narrative. And, WNBA yesterday, we've been watching just 9 play all year with the Sky. We saw, not the Sky, I mean the Sun. If the Sky dropped the next 2 games, they'd go into the Sun game 9. No bragging rights there. Phoenix, 11.5-point favorite. But this was a nice little game last night. If you put the Storm with a big dog, with a decent dog, South Florida, how much would a $5 bill become in that parlay? Easily over $50. And that's the thing that's nice about this knowledge. You learn to stop wasting your money on junk food. You're getting healthier. You got extra money in your pocket because you stopped with all the bullshit habits. And isn't that kind of what they're trying to get you to do watching these rigged football games? Go out and buy McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, Taco Bell, Pizza Hut, Domino's, Papa John's, et cetera, et cetera. Do you need a new truck? Probably not, but go buy one anyway and pay interest too. Yeah, the sticker price right now is through the roof. It's already crazy, but if you get that loan, look at what the real math's going to be. You're going to be paying over 6 figures for that truck. Instead of being stupid with your money, and some of them might think gambling is stupid. Listen, to an extent, gambling can be stupid, but when you're smart with this and taking advantage of a rigged system, it can be like investing. And that's the way we look at it. And there's a lot of people who've done very well with this knowledge, including yours truly. And that's also the reason I got so many dedicated haters that just been snakes in the grass. I mean, I have a guy who's been trolling and screen recording me for over 10 years straight now. Think about how pathetic that is. Always just trying to look for what's wrong to put out some compilation video. It's like, how many correct, amazing things are you not putting out there and just, for your haterade? And last year he made fun of my Notre Dame pick when they got upset midseason about how dumb it was that I thought Notre Dame could be in the championship. Again, you listen to the trolls and the haters, it's not going to serve you well. I'll just leave it at that. But so far, the Dogs winning 2-0 in the ranked games. And just funny things, too. It's like tonight's ranked game is between 2 Illinois teams. And you'll just start to see this stuff all the time once you learn this code. Look at the spread for the battle between the 2 Illinois teams tonight. It's a 45.5-point spread between the battle of the 2 Illinois teams. You learn this knowledge, you're going to see where these spreads come from. And the over-under for that game is at 62.5. Last year, the first Friday game in the NFL was 63 points. These numbers are not arbitrary. It's at 62.5 on a Friday because it's right next to 63. Now, this kind of stuff can be tricky. I'm not saying necessarily bet them to cover at the 45.5 or bet the over because Friday and 63. The point is you'll see that they don't just pick these numbers out of nowhere. There's a system to it, and the system is this Kabbalistic code of letters and numbers. Oh, and by the way, in light of August 23rd being Kobe Bryant's birthday, you see how Michael Jordan has that 238 in it, like Kobe's born on 23/8. And of course, Michael Jordan's 113 when you run it forwards, like Kobe Bryant is, like the National Basketball Association is. You know, only one team in the league has a full name that equals 113, and it's the team that Jordan beat in the finals 2 times. And of course, Kobe finished his career against the Utah Jazz. But yeah, none of this stuff is an accident. And in the case of Kobe, his father played in the league, Joe Jellybean Bryant. And don't forget, you know, Kobe died at age 41 while traveling from Catholic Mass on the 41st day of the Pope's age. He died on the 157th day of his own age. He was synced up with Pope Francis. You see how Kobe Bryant's 58? So is Pope Francis. It was a helicopter crash. Helicopter crash is 83. The Pope was 83 at the time. In 1983, Bear Bryant, the football great, died on the same day, January 26th, football 83. That means he died 37 years before Kobe. Bryant equals 26, like Kobe died on the 26th day of the year, just like Bear Bryant, and died on the 37th anniversary. And again, I just said Kobe Bryant equals 157. That's the 37th prime. They said it was an accident, 157. His daddy's nickname was Jelly Bean. You can go on and on and on and on. There's a lot more to it as well. But again, you learn this knowledge. It's like being Roddy Piper and They Live. You know, you put on the glasses, and now you got a whole new way of seeing the way the game is rigged. So, shout out to Roblanto, who chipped in a big 20. I didn't expect any super chats on an advertisement stream, but thank you, Roblanto. Very, very generous. He says, Zach, I emailed you a document about the Micah Parsons trade. Check it out. Don't know if you've covered it or not. I'm assuming you sent that to Gematria Effect News. Did you want me to share this in the stream? Let me see. Let me see. We got good decoders in the community. I just got to. Oh, yeah, I found it. You did send it to Gematria Effect News. All right. I think it's okay to share this information. All right. Here's a decode from somebody in the community. Micah Aaron Parsons, 77, like Green Bay. When Aaron Rodgers had that big fake injury, it was a big 77 ritual once upon a time. If you guys weren't here last year, that opener in Brazil between the Eagles and the Packers, I had the final score before the game was played, 33-29. I was very confident the Packers were going to lose with 29. The final score ended up being 34-29 for a total of 63 points on Friday. I was 1 point off on the Eagles score. The 29 made a lot of sense for a lot of reasons. Football and 29, it's a big number. But if you go back and watch my live, you can, once you get on Patreon, you go back and watch last year's live stream. I predicted that in the game, Jordan Love was going to get hurt as well. There was a few reasons, including the Love hurts thing. But Jordan Love got hurt at the end of the game. So we had the winner correct, almost the exact score dead on, and the Jordan Love injury all called before the game. And it had to do with 77. I was talking about how Rodgers once got hurt in a big 77 return on the Packers. But yeah, Micah Aaron Parsons. Let's do it one more time. Micah Aaron Parsons. Yeah, 77. He got all kinds of interesting numbers there, doesn't he? Hold on. What am I thinking of? There's something I'm thinking of that I'm missing right now. But anyway, yeah, I see your 77 connection. Micah Parsons got 4 years, $188 million. Remember, if you add the U.S. dollar bill denominations, the 1, the 2, the 5, the 10, the 20, the 50, the 100, it adds up to 188. And on the dollar bill, there's all that Illuminati symbolism. And remember, the Illuminati was founded by a Jesuit, Adam Weishaupt. Vince Lombardi was a Jesuit who died unexpectedly at Jesuit Georgetown the day before the 1970 NFL season began. But yeah, Bavarian Illuminati is what Adam Weishaupt initially called the Illuminati, 188. Most simple cipher. And again, Bavaria is 54, like Jesuit order. It's a whole nother topic. Got 136 million guaranteed. That's the Vesica Pisces number. Aaron Rodgers, when he signed his last big old contract with the Packers, or no, I'm tripping. It's 134. Yeah, Rodgers, when he signed his contract, it was a 134 thing. 136 is the 16th triangular number. But he says Micah Parsons. Oh, look at that. Micah Parsons, 136, 188. Yeah. Yep, 136 million guaranteed for a total 188 contract. And here, let's just check it out. Micah Parsons contract. That's the thing too. When these stories go out there, you'll see several different stories and different numbers in them. So like here, CBS did have it at 188 million, and you can see right here the 136 million guaranteed. 40, how about 47 million per year? The first Super Bowl season was the 47th NFL season, and the Masons study the 47th problem of Euclid. Remember, we had the first Super Bowl on the Vatican's birthday. That's who the Jesuits served the other year, and the score was 25-22, 47 points. But yeah, beautiful decode, Reblanto. Always very generous. Yeah, right on the money, man. And again, just about the 4 base ciphers. Again, the 4 base ciphers of the English language. Alphabetic order forwards. A is 1 up to Z is 26. Micah Parsons, 136. In reverse, 188. In reverse with numerology. And forwards with numerology. And you see the 55? Look at Wisconsin. 55. And I'm rusty right now. Hold on. Is it Lambeau Field? Lambeau Field is 71, just like Micah Parsons as well. So, I mean, this guy has a lot of reasons to be playing in Green Bay. A lot of overlap there. And this is nothing new, you guys. You learn this knowledge, you're going to be seeing this stuff all the time. Like I said, it's like being Roddy Piper and They Live. And a part of me thinks these guys don't really get the money that we're told. Part of me thinks it's all about selling the American dream. Little kids like, man, if I ever want to make it rich, I better make the football team. I better be the next Micah Parsons. In reality, you know, what our society should be marketing to children is like, listen, we need way more doctors. We have a medical shortage. We don't have enough good doctors. Granted, you go into medical school, then they turn you into, you know, somebody who might not even agree with what you got to do to keep your medical license and toe the line and all that. But I'm just saying, it's just like, we need more educated people and things that can actually help out with the world. We don't need more football players in the National Fix League. But how do you bait all the young minds there? By showing them this crazy money with these stories day after day. And then again, you look at how often these players are broke after they're out of the league in no time. You see they never put any money back into the communities they came up in, when a lot of them came up in poor communities, et cetera, et cetera. It's like, is any of this even real? Is any of this even real? Or is it just all one big lie? Reblanto goes on in the Fox Sports article published 8/28/2025 at 9:03 Eastern Standard Time. In the article, Jerry Jones referred to Micah as an asset. Yeah, we got 4 good years out of him. Yeah, talking about him like he's a tractor, like he's Big Egg, and it's time to get rid of the John Deere. Asset, yeah, 70. Yeah, look at it, man. It is kind of sick too when you really see what they're doing. It's sick. And 30. Remember, 35 is a big football number also. Micah Parsons on 35 Thursday. The asset. We'll see. Yeah, that's true about African American too. You remember when Birth of a Nation came out and it only made 7.1 million? I missed the A. Birth of a Nation. It came out and they made fun of it because it only made 7.1 million, and it was about Nat Turner, who died in history on 71 date numerology. And you know, back in the slavery days, people that look like Micah Parsons. It's just like African American 116. That was the year the Red Sox sent Mookie to the Dodgers in the 42 ritual in tribute to Jackie, and the Dodgers went on to win the 116th World Series, breaking the drought of 32 years versus the Rays, when there's 32 sun rays on the Jesuit Order's logo. For people who are new here, the Jesuits and the Masons run the show. The Jesuits made modern Freemasonry. Jesuits were like the daddies of the Masons. But a lot of, in sports, if you know your Mason numbers, you'll be a lot better served. The Mason numbers typically play better than the Jesuit numbers because, again, all the American sports are credited to Masons. From Micah Parsons' birthday to the day of the trade is 94 days. From Michael Parsons' birthday to the Society of Jesus' birthday is 125 days. 125 is the 94th composite number. That's interesting. Roman Catholic Church is 94. August 28th also leaves 125 days in the year. Numerology is 125. Darren Dalton, who used to play for the Phillies, wrote the book If People Only Knew about numerology in pro sports. And Darren Dalton, a Philadelphia sports icon, he died right before the Eagles won their first Super Bowl, if you recall. Here's the most interesting thing about the dates. Look at the comparison of the day of the trade and the Society of Jesus' birthday. Let's see. Yeah, there's the typical racist code on there. Yeah, I hear it, Roblanto. I hear it. But yeah, excellent decode. And really, if you're going to share some things with your friends and family, I'd keep it to this 188, 136 thing. The trick is those were reported, but there's also 8 other numbers they threw out there for the contract. And that's pretty much par for the course when this happens. But Micah Aaron Parsons is just like Green Bay. You could go back and look at here, I'll just pull up an old post right here about Rodgers and his injury, unless Google deleted it. Let's see. Rodgers injury, Green Bay 77. Let me see. That's not what I expected to pull up. Shit. It didn't pull up the. Oh, here we go. Aaron Rodgers injury. Yeah, it was versus the Vikings. That's right. So October 15th leaves 77 days left in the year. Halloween leaves 61. If you can remember that, you can usually figure out what the days around it are. So you just add 16 more. So October 15th, 77 days remain, right? 77 days remain. Green Bay 77. So many rituals with Green Bay in 77, you guys, it gets ridiculous. And probably you guys who don't think the preseason's rigged, you're wrong. I mean, it's like last week we saw that the Falcons and the Cowboys, Dion's team, were playing each other 13 days after his birthday. And we literally had the Falcons to lose with 13 points while the Falcons coach, Raheem Morris, would pick up his 13th career preseason loss, exactly what he did. 13 days after Dion's birthday, Falcons lose to the Cowboys with 13, and Raheem Morris gets the 13th loss. The preseason is the audition to see who can fulfill the scripts. It doesn't mean all the players out there know that it's scripted, but I guarantee you the coaches do. The refs are in on it. They're doing the same shit in the preseason that they do in the regular season. But yeah, Rodgers, big injury once upon a time by the numbers. And you'll see this stuff all the time once you know it. So many key injuries are by the numbers, it'll blow your mind. It's like, and who remembers him going to the New York Jets and getting hurt on 9/11? I mean, please. I mean, come on, man. Just stop it. Don't forget, 1968, 911 made the national emergency dialing code. World Trade Center construction began, and the New York Jets won their only Super Bowl, Super Bowl III. How many planes did they say hit targets on 9/11? Was it 3? Was it 3? All Boeings when Boeing debuted their jumbo jetliners in 1968. Boeing out of Seattle, Washington, 68 land. You know. All right. Yeah. After 9/11, the Patriot Act signed, and then all of a sudden the Patriots are the greatest football team on earth. Tom Brady out of nowhere. You guys know Tom Brady's dad is a billionaire from selling insurance. He owns insurance companies. And how much insurance is marketed to you during these sports games? I mean, this game brought to you by Allstate, this one by State Farm, this one by Farmers, this one by Progressive, blah, blah, blah. Fidelity, all the other ones I can't think of right now. Half these teams are insurance companies or banks, the things that exploit us all. Rig Sports exploiting you. Corporations exploiting you. They got you parked on your ass while they program your mind. Come back so we can exploit you some more. By the way, you guys know how bad it is over here. Last Friday, I had a Verizon employee port my phone number to Verizon's subsidiary called Vision. And once they had control of my phone, I was without a phone for most of last Friday. It took a long time to get it back. They were getting into all my financial accounts, pulling out all my money, racking up all my credit cards. A Verizon employee did me dirty. And now all week, I cannot get Verizon to talk to me about the fraud that happened. That's how bad these corporations are. Of course, they'll be advertising during the games too, the big cell phone companies. But anyway, Blizzard Peak says, if you're new here, it's not Gray Sports Almanac, but it's the next best thing. Great Great work over the years, Zach. Must be a lot of time and hard work. It is a lot of. It's definitely been a lot of hard work. I mean, how many hours do you think I put in over the last 12 years being here every day? I mean, we're talking about a lot of hours, 7 days a week. It's been a grind, but hard work does pay off. And again, if you guys would like to participate, patreon.com/Zachary K. Hubbard. The link's in the description. I'll make it the top pinned comment. Again, new pricing tier going forwards. $5 tier now gets you $5 Friday. The live stream on Friday, the notes on Friday. $11 tier gets you all 7 days a week notes. Streams on Friday and Saturday. $20 tier gets you streams all 7 days a week, notes all 7 days a week, and a chance to win yours truly's money. I'll let you guys know how many people are on the $20 tier as soon as football season starts. Last year, we had a great contest. People earned a lot on that tier. Again, I'm paying money back to the community. The contest, the way it works is we've been doing 3 picks. I'm thinking about making it just your best pick of the week. Who can accumulate the most points with the most lucrative pick? And the way you get the points is just like what the odds are. If you got a guy to score 3 touchdowns and the odds on that are plus, 2,500 plus, that could be the winning pick of the week. The reason I'm thinking about making it the one best pick of the week is just because it's a lot for me to score everybody's 3 submissions, and time's short over here with the little one and keeping up with everything. So we'll get it figured out. But yeah, if we get more people on the tier, we'll have a bigger pot of gold. Like I said, for most of the year, I've given out $200 a week back to the community based on the contest. So if you're on the $20 tier, you'll be eligible for all that. So again, got 3 tiers: $5 Friday, $11 every day, but streams just Friday and Saturday, $20 tier. All the notes, all the streams, every day. Again, we don't take days off over here. And again, chance to be in the contest each week. So that's what it's going to be. And that said, I got to get back to the family life over here. Got a few interesting ranked games tomorrow. We'll see if we can keep it perfect. College football as soon as tomorrow. And of course, if you're on all the sports we're covering right now, baseball, WNBA, baseball's MLB, obviously. We do a little MLS. We actually did pretty well with the MLS. I just checked out the MLS this year. I don't have enough time, but the MLS is I like it. It's like hockey. You get the wins and losses, but you also get the points for the year. We'll be doing hockey when it comes around, of course, NBA, NFL, college. We stay busy over here. So all three of those prices are definitely more than fair. And if you don't like it, because for years you've been benefiting off, all the information every single day for $5, hey, be grateful for all those years. We got family life over here, so it's time to ask for a little bit more, which I think is plenty fair. All right, True Sticker, we'll leave it there for now. Hope to see some new faces, or at least hear some new voices in the community as soon as tomorrow. So, and we stream in the mornings. Well, for you guys on the East Coast, it might be early afternoon. I'm a West Coast guy, but we stream early before the games start. Obviously, got to get the information out before the games start. And something I am thinking about doing is doing a public night stream where we just talk about things and we recap. So that might also be coming. It'd be hard for me to do it every single day of the week, but might be something at least a couple times a week here. All right, guys. But yeah, we will leave it there. Again, patreon.com/Zachary K. Hubbard. Link is in the description of the video. And after the video post, I will make it the top pinned comment. Thank you again to everyone who supports the work. And you stick around, you learn the knowledge, you will see this is real knowledge and there are real benefits. And again, if you're somebody who learns the knowledge and applies it, you can do amazing things. We have newer people in the community that have gotten really good at decoding golf, just blowing away golf tournaments. People that are applying it to the market and making great calls. We had a guy call into our sports stream about 2 months back saying, Zach, I got this read on this stock. This is major. I've just been busy. Back in the day, I would have done more with it. Man, about 3 days after he called in, that stock went times 30. That's what I'm saying. Learn this knowledge, apply this knowledge. Times 30, you guys. Had you invested $5, you would have had $150 3 days later. There's a lot that can be done with this, you know. Trying to lead you guys to the water. And if you do drink, you will learn. The water is good. Till next time, Truth Seeker.